Hey, social media family. Welcome to Healing Codependency. I'm Ramona Phillips, the Healthy Mind Strategist, helping hurting people grow past that trauma into authentic leadership, regardless of their area of expertise. So it's so important that we acknowledge how we're feeling, thinking, and behaving. How are you guys feeling today? How are you feeling during this holiday season? I know everybody is not super excited about the holidays. Hey, Kevin, welcome. Everyone is not super excited about the holidays. Some people have even lost loved ones during the holidays or close to the holidays, or for some people it's their first holiday or first Christmas without someone they deeply care about. So actually, how are you feeling? God showed me the importance of acknowledging my feelings, acknowledging how I feel, whether it's feelings of sadness or anger or frustration or feelings of insecurity or feelings of anxiety, right? Whatever it is, God wants us to acknowledge it so that way we can take care of ourselves emotionally, so we won't take our frustrations out on other people. We choose righteous behavior in spite of it all. Now, even if we miss the mark, God says He loves us. He's merciful. He forgives us. He wants us to forgive ourselves, and remember that it's important to learn from the mistake, give ourselves permission to make a mistake. So talking about codependency tonight. So because this is Thursday night, and that's what I talk about mainly on Thursday night. So healing codependency involves untangling yourself from other people, owning your part, getting to know yourself, and loving yourself. Tonight I'm going to talk a little bit more and probably about untangling yourself from other people, because so many of us sometimes become people pleasers, and especially with those close to us and family members and loved ones, sometimes we do too much and we allow ourselves to be taken for granted or taken advantage of. And I had to learn the importance of saying no. I had to learn the importance of knowing what's my business and what's not my business, the importance of letting go and letting God and letting people go, releasing people and keeping them in prayer, trusting God to do what He does best, and that's heal and deliver people, right? So sometimes we get all tangled up with people, and we end up losing our peace. So it's important that we know it's the importance of taking care of our own peace of mind, especially in our relationships. And God gives us permission to take care of ourselves and to love ourselves in every relationship. He reminds us of the importance of loving your neighbor as you love yourself. He says, as you love yourself, as you love yourself. So it's so important that we acknowledge the fact that we must be valuing ourselves, that we do have great worth and value, that we're fearfully, wonderfully, and marvelously made. And God says that we have permission to love ourselves. Then we make sure we're loving our neighbor, which is anyone outside of ourselves, not just the person next door, right? That can be a family member, a loved one, a friend. That can be someone at the grocery store, right? So anyway, talking about codependency, the importance of untangling ourselves with people and making sure that we are balanced, that we're working on having that balance when it comes to people, so we won't walk around with resentment. Because when we allow ourselves to be used and abused, walked over, trampled over, taken advantage of, then what happens? We get depressed, oppressed, anxious, right? And then what happens? We get resentful. So we don't want all of that negative energy just sitting there, which can make us emotionally sick or soul sick, right? And it's also important to ask ourselves some questions. So over 25 years ago, I decided to go into therapy. I was in a toxic marriage, and I couldn't understand, why did I stay so long? Why was I still in the relationship? First of all, I met my first husband when I was in my 20s. So first of all, I was still very immature and very ignorant emotionally and about some things. And you know, when you're a young adult, sometimes you tend to think you know like everything, and then life begins to wake us. Life's experiences begin to give us some major wake up calls, and we realize that we do need help and that we don't know everything. So I'm just going to ask you a few questions you can ask yourself, and then I'm going to share something else with you briefly. So, do you feel confident in your own decisions? Do you feel confident in your own decisions? Some people that struggle with codependency are not confident with their own decisions, and they feel like they have to go ask other people all the time. Of course, it's okay to ask someone, but we want to always pray first, and God does work through people. But at the same time, we want to make sure that we are building our faith and building our confidence. Hey, Van, how you doing? God bless you. We want to make sure that we're building our faith and we're building our confidence so that we won't have to, depend so much on other people, right? So have you ever overstayed in a relationship because the fear that you wouldn't find anyone else to love you? That's major. A lot of people stay in relationships because they don't think they can find anyone else to love them, or they're afraid to be alone, right? But it's important that we ask ourselves specific questions so God can know what to heal, because if God wants us to participate in our own healing journey, our own healing process, but we participate, we partner with God, because remember, He gave us a free will. We must remember God gave us a free will. So we must choose. We must choose to do the righteous thing. We must choose to do, to step out in faith. We must choose. We must choose to say, surrender to God, and say, okay, God, I need some help. I need you to help me. I need you to deliver me, or I need you to show me some things that I don't know. I need you to help me to unlearn some things. I need you to help me to get out this relationship, or whatever it is, right? I need you to deliver me. I need you to heal my heart, whatever that is for you, right? And it might be more than one of those things, because I've been there and done that. So balance, okay? Balance. God wants us to have balance in our relationships. And God works a lot through our relationships as well. So that's another reason why we definitely need to know how to have balance in our relationships. So strive for balance. Strive for balanced expectations of others. Strive for healthy balance. We have to be mindful about our own expectations on other people, or our standards for someone else's behavior, because we can get frustrated because we have these high expectations of another person's behavior. Okay, so in the past, we may have tolerated too much. That used to be me. Or too little. We may have expected too much or too little. We may swing from tolerating abuse. We may swing from tolerating abuse, mistreatment, and deception to refusing to tolerate normal, human, and perfect behaviors from people. I'm going to say that again. We may swing from tolerating abuse, mistreatment, and deception to refusing to tolerate normal, human, and perfect behaviors from people. And it's important that we know the difference. It's important that we know the difference so we can work on that. Although it's preferable not to remain in either extreme too long, that is how people change. Real people who struggle imperfectly toward better lives, improved relationships, and more effective relationship behaviors. But if we are open to ourselves and to the recovery process and to our healing process, we will at some time begin another transition. It becomes time to move away from extremes toward balance. We can trust ourselves and the recovery process to bring us to a balanced place of tolerance, giving, understanding, and expectations of ourselves and others. Right? So we can each find our own path to balance as we begin and continue recovery. As we begin and continue to surrender ourselves to God, ask God to heal us, humble ourselves before God, ask God to create in us a clean heart, renew a right spirit within us, when we continue to get honest with ourselves and get honest with God, right? So it's so important that we do that. And whatever it is, whatever's going on, it's important that we still look inward. We take a look at ourselves, and we make sure that we're doing the right thing or the righteous thing, and we're humbling ourselves, right? So today I will practice acceptance. Today I will practice acceptance with myself and others for the way we change, And if I have had to swing to the other extreme of a behavior, I will accept that as appropriate for a time. But I will make my goal one of the balanced tolerance. But I will make my goal one of balanced tolerance and expectations of myself and others, right? Balanced tolerance and expectations of myself and others. To God be the glory. So sometimes sometimes people are, sometimes we swing from one extreme to the other. Sometimes other people swing from one extreme to the other, but it's important that we make sure that we're being merciful too, but at the same time taking care of ourselves. We must make sure that we're examining ourselves to make sure that we're not holding grudges. And if we're holding a grudge, we release that grudge, or we ask God to help us to release that grudge or release that hurt and still handle the situation wisely, making sure that we are taking care of ourselves. We have every right to take care of ourselves and relationships that may appear to be toxic. We have every right to take care of ourselves and relationships that may be, well, let's just say we need to find that balance. Sometimes we just need to pull back a little bit and give people space to heal, give people space to grow. Sometimes other people may be too dependent on us, or too dependent on you, right? Sometimes people may be too dependent on us. Some people can grow codependent on other people, and we may have to pull back and give them more space with God to heal, to grow, right? We want to make sure we're not enabling people as well. So we have every right to untangle ourselves from others, right? Yes, that's because we're not God. God is God. But we want to make sure we're praying for others, and that we're being merciful and being compassionate. But also we want to be compassionate with ourselves as well. Right? Right. Okay, thank you for joining me tonight on Healing Codependency, because trauma is defeated. And actually, if you're listening to my new show on Reach Gospel Radio, every Saturday mornings now at 7:30 a.m. This Saturday, because it's Christmas Day, right? They will only be playing Christmas music all day, right? So, but I'll be back the following Saturday, okay? Saturday mornings at 7:30 a.m. on Reach Gospel Radio, okay? I'll talk to you guys later. Good night. And Merry Christmas if I don't talk to you, all right? All right.